Hey everyone, welcome to Encounters USA. If it's aliens, UFOs, Bigfoot, or dogmen you're looking for, you came to the right place. Now listen up as we listen to some of the latest encounters. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Encounters USA. I'm your host, author Matthew Hines, and today I have the first of a series of podcasts as well as YouTube videos that deal with ECETI Ranch and the UFO iTeam. Now, if you're not familiar with either one, you are going to love the podcasts and videos that I have for you. Now, before we get started, I just want to remind people and thank people for subscribing. We are getting a lot of subscribers here now, and I just want to remind people that we deal with Bigfoot, aliens, UFOs, and dogmen. Now, if you're into UFOs, you're not going to see a better podcast than the one, or actually, you're not going to listen to a better podcast than the one you're going to listen to now. And if you look at the YouTube video, you're going to see and hear about some amazing stuff. As we talk to Michael Hall, former Supreme Court judge in Washington State and head of the UFO iTeam. We are going to see them in action at not only the ECETI Ranch, but at another location called, I call it Takalaka Lake. It's something like that, but we're going to have a series of videos and interviews with the people from the UFO iTeam. Also, at ECETI Ranch, I ran into an amazing artist by the name of Vidani. Now, she has designed a new logo for Encounters USA. She was so excited about the topics and about the idea and about how we're doing both field research, podcasts, and all the stuff that we do. She designed us a logo. Now, I'm going to put it to you, listeners and viewers. Of course, you're probably going to have to check this out on YouTube, but I want to know, which do you prefer, our older logo or the new Vidani Encounters USA logo, which, of course, you'll have to go to our YouTube channel, or you can go to encountersusa.com. Now, if you pick whoever wins the contest, that will be the one that gets the most votes. If you are one of those that chose correctly, you will win a special Encounters USA t-shirt. So you can't ask for more than that. And as winter approaches and cold weather approaches, of course, you're going to be wanting those caps and sweatshirts as well. So all that's available over at Encounters USA and our merchandise section of our website. So without further ado, we're going to join Michael Hall at the ECETI Ranch. He's going to be talking about two topics. I was going to shoot two videos, but because of the heat and we were losing sunlight sitting right down below Mount Adams, I had to cut the second interview short. So I have condensed them into one interview. The first one deals with what ECETI Ranch, what the UFO iTeam does. And the second part of the video is going to deal with the storming Area 51 that is supposed to happen in September 2nd, and how the UFO iTeam is creating a new idea to take on that challenge. So we're going to talk about His Honor Michael Hall in just a minute. So I just want to remind you guys, if you are watching on YouTube, you'll be able to watch a tour of ECETI Ranch, a number of great pictures. If you are listening on your favorite podcast station, let me remind you that there will be interviews with the UFO iTeam themselves as we're out on location shooting, talking about what they do and some of their equipment. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see they have some amazing equipment. All right, I think that I've covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. So without further ado, let's go to ECETI Ranch and let's have a nice chat with His Honor, Michael Hall, head of the UFO iTeam. All right. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Encounters USA. We are at the ECETI Ranch. I am so excited. I am so stoked. Behind me is Mount Adams. Next to me is His Honor, Michael Hall, and he is here with his superstar team from the UFO iTeam. So it is just going to be a fantastic night, and it's going to be a fantastic interview as well. So we're going to start off with Michael Hall. Why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Okay. Well, thank you, Matt, for having me, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, this is fantastic to meet up in this glorious location. You know, about as far south as you can go in the state of Washington, by the way. Mount Adams, almost on the border between this and Oregon. But ECETI Ranch, run by James Gillian, is just an awesome place to hang out. We do that every summer at the UFO iTeam. My name is Michael W. Hall. They call me the Paranormal Lawyer. I guess I've earned that moniker over the years. I've been a lawyer for a long time, over 30 years, but been interested in UFOs for many, many more than that. Matter of fact, I started out in 1974 or about in college as an APRO field investigator, the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization. And then also I became the lawyer of record for many different ufologists over the years, including Peter Davenport with the National UFO Reporting Center, Grant Cameron, Dr. Richard Haynes, by the way, the NARCAP pilot reporting agency. I've been their attorney since about 1999. And if you go way back, Dr. James Harder also was a client of mine. He was the very first investigator that got a hold of Travis Walton after his abduction case.
Wow.
Back in 1975. So I've been around a while, but decided a few years ago to start my own group called the UFO iTeam, which is a bunch of sophisticated, highly educated and experienced field investigators of the paranormal, not just UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, all sorts of paranormal phenomenology. So that's kind of how we get started, and we typically come to ECETI every summer about this time and see some amazing things.
Well, I can't wait. So, Michael, before we go too much farther, you're also a judge, right? You
Right.
served as a judge as well?
Yes, Superior Court judge in Thurston County, actually, which is, south part of Washington State as well. Actually, I was a settlement judge. I was the hang 'em high judge that they would send you to before you went to trial, try to settle the case, like a head-banging mediation, we used to call it. I used to settle, I have about 6 divorce cases in a day.
Wow.
And usually settling about half of them before the day is over. So that clears the calendar pretty well if you can get about half your, family law cases off of the court docket.
Wow.
So,
just incredible. And so I have to ask you, if you're representing people that are investigating UFOs, why do they need representation from an attorney? What are they doing?
You'd be surprised. But the real issue is that, many organizations like the National UFO Reporting Center, where everybody, all the FAA towers in the country, all the military organizations, law enforcement, they all send their UFO sighting reports to Peter Davenport. But he needed basically legal help for starting up the nonprofit organization, getting certain things put together. Every year you got to do certain reportings and stuff like that. Plus, I even helped Peter, you're going to love this, purchase an abandoned Nike missile site in eastern Washington, where he basically at that point was going to move all the database for UFO sightings underground to keep them safe. He still has the missile site in eastern Washington, but yeah, you'd be surprised how many groups and UFO organizations need a little bit of legal advice as they go.
Well, yeah, because it would seem to me, just thinking about it, is that if it's a nonprofit, then people are contributing money, and somebody's going to come out and say, "Well, you don't have any results.
Yep.
Where's the UFO?" So it's fraud. So
yeah. No, you have to have a lot of reporting, issues coming up, and just basically getting through the whole issue of working with an anomalous activity and trying to do it the right way and making sure that it's on the up and up.
Okay. So Peter Davenport, was he in part of the Disclosure Project? Was he on
Yes.
Jimmy Carter's staff? And
Oh, no. Peter.
Okay.
Peter Davenport has been a ufologist for 30 years and was basically the guy who decided to make sure that all the reporting of UFOs from various government organizations became public. And so he started this organization. You can go to his website, NUFORC, National UFO Reporting Center, NUFORC.com, and you can look up your own hometown and neck of the woods and figure out what sightings have happened this week there. It's really fascinating.
It is fascinating and handy for me because I'm always looking for new sightings, whether it's UFOs, Bigfoot,
Yes.
or Dogman. You know about Dogman?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, well, that's great.
Oh,
The
man.
last 3 people I've talked to, I just talked to James, and he said, I don't really know anything about Dogman.
Well, he knows of Dogman on the UFOiteam, but yes, we all kind of have a different areas of speciality that we really like to get involved in.
Yeah.
And James is the video guy par excellence. You'll see his gear tonight for the Sky Watches. We've got another guy, Dave Mason, as well, that have some amazing video gear. So whenever we go, we are pretty much guaranteed to find something.
Okay. I just watched Les or Lee over there with his crew-served weapons, his anti-aircraft stuff, and you say people, you've got guys with stuff better than that. Holy cow!
We got a guy. Let me explain this. We've got a guy named Dave Mason who has invented a pair of binoculars.
Yep.
Did they tell you about this?
Yeah, but I didn't get it on video, so go ahead and tell.
You're going to love this.
Yeah.
This guy is a techie guy par excellence. He has invented a pair of industrial-grade binoculars that literally take light from the sky, like a star, an anomalous object, turns that light frequency into sound.
Yep.
And so you can audibly hear what an airplane sounds like, a commercial jet or whatever. Then you can audibly hear the difference between that and an anomalous object. But here's the kicker. Then he has got this diode in the lens of the binocular that turns the sound back into light wave and can broadcast it right back to the subject that it's being emitted from. Can you imagine what we're going to be able to do at one point when a real bona fide UFO is sending us a unique frequency? We're capturing it and sending it right back to the guy or them, wherever it is.
Well, you know, Your Honor, when I heard Lee talk about that, I said, well, is this for like crowd control? Because you can zap somebody right away. You can put some freaky sound right in their head.
Yeah, well, that's the military
just
kind
by
of
shooting a light at
applications.
them. Yeah,
For sure, but the theory that we've got going here is that this light that we see from anomalous objects is probably a communication frequency as well. So if we can learn what that is, it's like the Close Encounters of the Third Kind movie. You know, the tones, all of a sudden they started out trying to communicate with music or whatever.
Or in Contact, when they had it buried in the signal.
Exactly. And unless you're looking for it, you're not going to find it. So we've got some really interesting stuff that we usually bring to Skywatches like this.
Okay. So we've talked about I think you mentioned Dave. We've talked about Lee. I've met Anders. So so people will see them. Tell us some more about the people on your team.
Well, we've got quite a few, probably 10, 15, regulars and stuff. Sue Hu, our little munchkin, is here. She's a short lady. And there she is, right over with her husband, Chuck. They're walking around. They'll be here tonight. And she is just the enthusiastic cheerleader mom for us. That's what we do. And she is really into organizing us together and kind of getting us from here to there and logistically. We have Nikki, who is quite an intuitive psychic. We have who we call the enlightened millennial on our group. He's only 21 years of age. His name is Troy Bacon. And this guy is an indigenous peoples expert. He's got an undergraduate degree in indigenous peoples around the world, so he brings that to the table as far as, what the heck different, tribes or individuals that are visiting our planet would be like. We have a Boeing engineer, Scotty, we call him, from Star Trek. We just call him that. We have lots of interesting folks that follow around our group, and we don't make all of them together, but sometimes, we trade off.
Okay. Mike, I'm going to stop this for 1 second because I need a drink of water.
Good for you.
And, oh my gosh, ants in my thing. And I need to check this because if this... I'm always paranoid that thing is not recording, All right.
Yeah. I know how you feel. You're doing an excellent job, man.
Oh.
Way to go.
All right, we're not even, we're only, I haven't even really started yet. All right, so, Mike, you have a psychic on, you said you have a psychic on your team. Psychic?
Yes, yeah.
And how does that help you?
Actually, Lee Strauss, Nikki, Ander, Euristi, who you've all met. A lot of these intuitive people that have had experiences seem to have some kind of intuition, or sometimes they call it a gut feeling, about them being near, whoever they are, being in the proximity of what we're doing, or that we might run across some very anomalous craft that we get on tape. So it seems to have some kind of correlation, whether it's consciousness, intuition, psychic ability, I don't know, but there seems to be connections there with very right-brain people.
Okay. Do you find that most of your crew is intuitors? Strong intuitors?
A lot of them, although we've got the other half where we've got the techie guy, Dave Mason. We've got the, Boeing engineer guy who is really into UFO propulsion, that kind of stuff. So we have quite a weird, eclectic mix, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely not one of those guys. I'm more of the intuitor type, master's in social studies.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, so more of the, is that left or right brain? I think that's right brain.
That's right brain all the way. You kidding me? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so tell us a little bit about your UFOiteam. How long have you guys been in business?
We've been coming to these Skywatch events. We were trying to calculate that just this afternoon. Almost 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. This was back when it wasn't real popular to go out there and stand in the wilderness with a bunch of cameras. And we'd even have the local law enforcement guys show up. Go, what are you guys doing?
Yep.
Nowadays they come out and join us. They kind of circle around and say, "Hey, you see anything unique tonight?" We've been doing, and we kind of started out. One of our contingent members, Tom Sanger, started this whole thing way back when up at Mount Baker, kind of going to the Mount Baker site in the summer times, and seeing some really there's a couple of spots up at Mount Baker. One of them is called Artist Point, where you can actually take a car and drive to about 5,000 feet, and you can look across north to the Canadian border and see not only Mount Baker behind you, Mount Shuxton. You can also see the Pleiades Mountains, 7 peaks called the Pleiades, and they are so gorgeous. Matter of fact, when the northern lights come down in the summertime and just start dancing around across the border, it's a sight to see. But I'll tell you what, we have anomalous activity almost every summer. We go to Mount Baker, as well as other places, of course. That's why we're here in ECETI.
Wow, that is amazing. So, over the years, what has been the highlight? What's the biggest thing that you've accomplished?
Well, I'll tell you, the highlight of this event might be the highlight of what we have actually captured on tape. Because last summer, about this time, we're all sitting with our gear, all set up like we've got it tonight. We're all waiting for the sun to go down. Beautiful, clear night here, Mount Adams, hovering in the distance. And all of a sudden, it's dark at about 10 o'clock, very bright. All the stars are like so close, you can feel like you could touch them. And off to our left comes this very, very bright light. If you can imagine how Venus looks on a clear summer night sky. It's the brightest object in the sky at that point. But you can imagine a light 20 times brighter than that. Bigger as well, 20 times bigger and brighter. Coming across from our left to our right, and everybody goes, oh, look. And 75 people were here that night last summer. And everybody draws their attention to it. James Gilliland hits his high-powered laser. And we know it's not. We have apps, by the way, that can tell us if it's a commercial flight, if it is, circling. What am I trying to say?
Like a scheduled flight.
A scheduled flight, or any kind of a known object that just kind of circles the planet. We know that, so we know that this thing is anomalous. And what I say is that you don't want to shine a laser at a commercial airliner or any kind of a flight. So we know it's not one of those. And then what we'll do is have somebody, just have me, James, last summer, circle the object and bring everybody's attention to it so they can zone in on it. This thing then starts kind of responding to the laser by powering up. Like you wouldn't believe. It was shit. No sound, very white, and it just goes back down, keeps going from right to left, like this, gets everybody's attention right in front of us at about maybe 70 degrees, not 90 degrees straight up, about 70 degrees out, right over the mountain, but closer than that because there was a cloud level, intermittent cloud level of about 20,000 feet. So it's pretty low. No, I'm sorry, not 20,000, 2,000 feet. This was very low. Yeah. So this thing was below that. And as it got right in front of us at about 70 degrees, this giant blue laser came out of the object. And all of our banks of cameras right there with Lee Strauss just whited out with this laser beam that we've got on tape.
Wow.
Now, we think there's probably some communication in there. But what happens is you'll notice a lot of our cameras, hopefully this won't happen tonight because we've thought ahead on this, a lot of our batteries will immediately die on something like that. And that's a traditional thing that you'll see, and you'll know that that's unusual because our batteries are fully charged. We've even got, Lee Strauss has come up with the idea of a Faraday fabric that you wrap around the batteries to make sure that they don't do that. And you got to watch out for that stuff. But that object was, matter of fact, there were some folks down at the other end of the Skywatch field at a different angle because we're looking at this way. And they were looking at that blue laser beam off to an angle and said it came right down and hit the cameras just like we said. Oh my God,
yeah. So I want to talk to you about that. But so that is, I mean, you were talking about disclosure. What more do you need? I mean, that
you know what that is? That's CE5. That's human-initiated contact with aliens, basically.
So let me give you a crazy idea. The reason your batteries are going dead is because they are overloading your system with so much information. It just wears them right down.
There you go.
They just zap.
Very good.
Like a burst.
And that's very possible because if we ever had the ability to analyze those light waves that are coming at us like that are, killing our batteries, there might be some information in there.
Yeah. If we can, I don't know if we have that kind of technology yet, but we might. All right. So, what do you have any open investigations going on right now besides what we're doing here?
Well, we do. Matter of fact, we just last month we were in Baker again, Mount Baker, northern part of Washington State, and we have hours and hours of footage that we are still going through. We have a guy up there, a local guy who lives in Mount Baker that we consider part of the UFOiteam. His name is Rob. We call him Rob from Puyallup. Even though he doesn't live in Puyallup anymore, that's his moniker because he used to live there. This guy has sent us video of short bursts of daytime video. He has a very inexpensive Nikon Coolpix video camera. You can put in a purse. It's that kind of small thing. He'll put it up on a tripod. He'll set it up on a middle of a day and just look at the blue sky, but he'll have in the camera frame like a mountain on this side and a mountain on this, so you know how far the distance is between these in his field of view. He'll take a 2-minute video, 5 minutes at the most. what he'll do is he'll download that to his laptop. He'll go through it frame by frame, which takes a long time to do if you're even a 2-minute video. I mean, you're talking 49 frames per second just for a Coolpix camera, right? So just think how many frames you got to go through to get 2 minutes worth. This guy is capturing anomalous objects, cigar shapes, saucer shapes, V shapes, anomalous objects that, for instance, go through his field of vision in 3 frames.
Wow.
And when you do the calculation, the math on that, at 49 frames per second, and at the first frame it's off to the right-hand side of the camera, the frame, maybe the second frame is in the middle, and the third frame is almost out of the thing. That's like 20,000 miles an hour or more, we think. So fast you couldn't even see it with your naked eye if you're looking at it.
Yeah.
But he's capturing those all the time.
Wow.
Matter of fact, he's got a tape that he's shown us where up by Silver Lake, which is very close to Mount Baker, he actually has recorded with that short video an object coming out of the blue sky, going into the lake, the water, without making a splash, by the way. And you can actually see it travel through the water, pop up out of the water into the blue sky without making a splash.
Wow.
In the same kind of a speed.
And where is this video?
It's all over the UFOiteam Facebook page.
Okay, there we go.
You go there, and actually, I've tagged Rob from Puyallup at the very top of our page, so you can find him very easy. You go to UFOiteam with a lowercase I on Facebook, or you can go to the Paranormal Lawyer. I've got a couple channels up there. But yeah, we put all of our stuff up there so that people can find out what we're doing.
Okay. And your website is UFOiteam?
UFOiteam.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, amazing. You know, I've only been doing this podcast for this is my 3rd month. And I got,
good for you.
I got caught up in Bigfoot. So
nice.
Once you start with Bigfoot, it just doesn't stop. And I've just had I had Ron Moorhead.
Good buddy of ours. Yeah.
On my last one. And you know Lori Simmons by any chance?
I don't know.
She's a Bigfoot researcher up by Mount Baker, I think. But anyway, I'd like to interview her sometime. All right, so what are your plans for the future? Do you plan to grow this project?
Yes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we need people out there that are interested in their own state, their own country, that want to get involved in serious research to get a hold of us, because I think we can network and help each other out in this regard. I mean, you're talking when the U.S. government now comes out, the front page of the New York Times, and confirms through the Department of Defense and the Pentagon that UFOs are real. You know, I mean, you got to realize at one point they're going to have to say, oh yeah, someone's driving them too, and they're visiting our planet. We need to figure out what's going on and get the truth out of what's really happening.
Well, all right. So we're kind of losing our light here. So let's kind of close this off by talking about this subject of disclosure. Now, you say that the Air Force and the Navy's coming out and saying, oh yeah, we've got these pilots that are almost crashing into these things. But as an attorney, what are the legal implications? They have screwed people over for years. And I think the reason they're never going to come out and say, well, yeah, we were lying about all that, is because there are some really serious legal implications if they're to come out and say that. Wouldn't the lawsuits begin almost immediately for all the lives they've destroyed?
You would think there is a massive blowback potentially down the road for actual disclosure. Because what happened? What do you do when you get to that tipping point where you actually have to say, oh yeah, UFOs are real, but yeah, aliens are visiting the planet, right? How long have you known that, right? That's the first question. What do you mean if they're getting here from wherever they are, they don't use gas or coal, right? You mean you might have had that ability for many years? So you're right. This is a blowback that is of huge, massive proportions that needs to be managed somehow. And, to make sure we get over that and get on with the good technology.
Yeah. But when you look at, not to get too far into politics, but Trump basically has opened up the oil and gas again. So we're back to oil and gas. and all these, the problem is the technology, is the free energy, and that's what's, because our whole system is based on a petroleum economy. So if you introduce the free energy, then you have no basis for, you have that no petroleum economy, and then you have no control. So do you think, I think that's what it is. It's just because we're never going to, at least as long as there's oil to be sucked out of the ground, I don't think they'll ever disclose about these machines.
Well, here's what I'm feeling. And you probably have felt this as well, Matt. I have never seen disclosure happen so quickly as it has in even the last 2 months. I believe there might even be an off-planet pressure to get this information out, or someone else is going to do it for them. And of course, if that is an off-planet pressure, they need to get ahead of a spin on that. And that's why you see all of a sudden mainstream media talking about this subject.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the actual Navy, the Nimitz UFO encounter, is being all over the news, on Fox News, on mainstream media. That's the only thing to me makes sense, is that there is an agenda, a need to get this out to the public before something else is going to happen.
Yeah, and I was listening to some abductee that was saying that she was told in 2021 that's when they're gonna come.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's here or there, but it possibly could be. But then you get into that thing about, well, the government's going to make a false fake alien invasion, and they muddy the waters with this and that, and you have the secret space program and all that. So I just interviewed Carrie Cassidy a couple of days ago.
Good for you.
And talking about the secret space program, and so there's all kinds of different things, and so you don't really know how this disclosure would even pan out. And is it going to be? My opinion is there's been disclosure. You and I know there's UFOs. The guys who matter knows there's UFOs. The guys that don't matter, that it doesn't mean anything to, why tell them? What good is that going to do them? It's just going to confuse them more. So anyway, I don't know, but we're all sitting here. You know the story of the elephant and the blind man?
Yeah.
Well,
they're all touching a different part of the elephant and describing it differently.
Yep.
I think you're right. Jacques Vallée kind of said that as well. He'd be very surprised if this turns just to be people visiting us from another planet. It might be interdimensional. It might be all sorts of different things going along with the idea of that.
All right. Well, I think this has been an amazing interview. We've got the sun's going down. Mount Adams behind us is looking beautiful. I'm sure I can't see her right now, but I'm sure she's looking great. Michael Hall, I think we're going to tie this off. I'm going to talk to Michael in our next interview about this Area 51, storming Area 51. Mike's involved in that, and we're going to find out about that in the next interview. So for Encounters USA, I'm with His Honor, the UFO lawyer, the judge, the superstar of the...
You're so kind.
You're like the... you remember you guys should have been the A-Team.
There you go.
And you would have been Hannibal, right?
I like it. I like it.
So you like it when a plan comes together.
That's right. There you go.
All right. Well, so for Michael Hall and for Matthew Hines, Encounters USA, if you are out in the woods, if you're at ECETI Ranch, remember always, watch your back. Don't miss the amazing second part of this interview. Don't storm Area 51. UFOiteam's answer to the movement to storm the most secure area in the world on September 22nd and 23rd of 2019 on podcast and YouTube. Thanks for listening to tonight's show. Please remember, if you've had an encounter, we want to hear about it. Go ahead and email us at encountersusa1@gmail.com or contact us at encountersusa.com, our website, and go to the contact form. All right, everybody. Until next time, be careful out there. And if you're out in the woods, watch your back.